Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm your host, and I know why you're here. You were probably looking for a way to stay ahead of the curve, right?
Right, without feeling completely overwhelmed by just the absolute flood of new information out there. Glad to be here to dig into this with you.
Same here. So today, our mission is really centered on this one highly practical article from Stella Pop. It's called 3 Ways to Use AI for Content Marketing Without Creating AI Slop.
Yeah, and the mission for this deep dive is to figure out exactly why using AI to just, publish more content is actually causing engagement to drop for so many teams.
Exactly. We want to figure out how to harness AI strategically without losing your brand's unique voice. Because imagine this scenario for a second. Your marketing team suddenly gets the ability to double, maybe even triple their content output overnight.
Just a massive volume out of nowhere.
Right. You are publishing blogs, sending out email sequences, firing off social posts just faster than ever before. So you hit refresh on your analytics dashboard, and you fully expect to see the traffic climbing off the charts.
But then you look, and the line is completely flat.
Yeah, it's completely flat. Or even worse, like your email click-through rates are actually falling off a cliff.
Yeah, it's arguably the defining marketing paradox right now. I mean, the sheer volume of output has been totally decoupled from actual business impact. We're producing a lot more stuff, but we're connecting way less.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the article diagnoses this exact problem, right? The illusion that AI speed equals marketing success. It's what they call the AI slop epidemic.
That's a great term for it, AI slop.
It really is. It's the reason why everything you see in your feeds lately suddenly sounds exactly the same. Like, those LinkedIn posts that start with, "In today's fast-paced digital landscape."
Oh, yeah, and then they end with a random rocket ship emoji. It's just so predictable.
Exactly. You read 3 paragraphs, you get to the bottom, and you just realize you've consumed the literary equivalent of, plain oatmeal. There's just nothing there.
Right, and the source actually gets really specific about the characteristics of this AI slop. It's the generic ideas, the flat writing, the safe, recycled takes.
SEO-driven headlines that have literally zero perspective.
Yeah, and the endless generic top 5 tips frameworks that everybody else is publishing on the exact same day. The fundamental shift required here is that teams need to win on judgment, not output.
Right, because using AI just to produce more generic content, it's kind of like turning up the volume on a radio playing static.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. I mean, it doesn't make the song any better. It just makes the noise way more annoying for everyone listening. Yeah. Editorial judgment is now the scarce resource.
What's fascinating here is how the source conceptualizes the AI. They call it a junior analyst, and I think that's the perfect mental model for this.
A junior analyst. I like that. So like somebody fresh out of college.
Exactly. Think about a junior analyst. They're incredibly fast at synthesis, they're super competent at drafting, but they severely lack a real point of view.
They just don't have the taste or the life experience yet.
Right. I mean, you wouldn't take a junior analyst's raw, unedited work and put it directly in front of your biggest client without reviewing it.
No way. That would be a disaster.
But that's exactly what people are doing with these language models. They're treating the LLM like a senior executive instead of a junior assistant.
So if we agree that AI is just a fast junior analyst, how do we actually guide it? I mean, how do we stop it from just handing us back this slop?
Well, this brings us to the first big move from the Stella Pop piece. It's what they call the pre-prompt brief. And it forces your team to actually think before the model drafts anything.
Okay, so it's a forcing function. You don't just open a chat and say, write a blog post.
Exactly. You have to define 5 specific things up front. The audience, the job to be done, a contrarian take, 3 specific proof points, and 1 proprietary input.
Wait. What exactly counts as a proprietary input in this context? Isn't that just a fancy way of saying we need to feed it data?
It's more specific than that, actually. The article clarifies that a proprietary input means something uniquely yours, like an insight from a customer call you had yesterday.
Okay, so not just industry statistics from a Google search.
Right. It could be a screenshot of your internal process, a real number from your own CRM, or just something your team learned firsthand.
Something the AI couldn't possibly know unless you explicitly gave it to them.
Exactly. Because without that proprietary input, the AI literally has nothing unique to work with. It's just predicting the average of the internet.
And the average of the internet is slop.
Exactly. And even after you do that pre-prompt brief, there's another layer. They call it the anti-slop quality bar. It's a checklist for the editing phase.
Okay, so editing isn't just fixing typos anymore.
No, the source argues the editing pass is actually the main event. It's not a cleanup. You have to ask, Does this have a real point of view? Does it contain a specific example or a number or a real name?
Right, injecting the specifics back into it.
And then there's the ultimate filter question from the text, which I love. Ask yourself, could this piece have been published by a competitor without changing a word?
Oh, wow. That's a brutal test.
If the answer is yes, then it's unpublishable. You have to throw it out or rewrite it.
Because if it applies to everyone, it means nothing. That makes total sense. But if the main event is human editing and real thinking, do we actually need all these AI tools?
That is the big question.
Because right now, marketing teams are subscribing to like a massive arsenal of AI platforms, right?
Yeah, and the source calls this out directly. They say, tool sprawl is a quality problem disguised as a productivity problem.
That is so true. I mean, teams use 6 different tools, one for SEO, one for drafting, another for social media scheduling.
And the result is that nobody masters any of them. The prompt quality degrades because you're constantly context switching between different interfaces.
So what's the solution then? Just cancel everything?
Well, they recommend the 2-tool model. You have one tool for research and synthesis, and one tool for drafting and editing. That's it.
Just 2. That takes a lot of discipline. How do you even decide which ones to keep?
They provide a 5-point audit criteria for this. You evaluate your tools based on team adoption, workflow fit, data security, output quality, and integration.
Workflow fit's a big one. Like if you have to log into 3 different portals just to get the text out, nobody's going to use it.
Exactly. And their rule is strict. If a tool fails 2 or more of those criteria, you cut it. Just cut the tool.
So what does this all mean? It basically means that having fewer tools actually leads to faster cycle times.
Yes, and much more consistent quality.
Because your team actually learns how to use the 2 tools they have. They get really good at prompting those specific models.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, chasing every single new model release is a massive failure mode for teams right now.
Oh, absolutely. There's a new AI tool launching every Tuesday. It's exhausting just trying to read about them, let alone integrate them.
Yeah. And the source strictly states that consistency compounds, but novelty does not. You can't build a reliable content engine if you're swapping parts out every week.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've stripped down our tool stack. We spent some serious human brain power creating one high-quality, non-slop piece of content.
We passed the competitor test.
Exactly. So now what? How do we ensure we get maximum visibility for that effort without our team just burning out?
Well, the article says you cannot just publish and pray.
Publish and pray. Yeah, just throwing a link on Twitter and hoping it goes viral.
Right, which never works. Instead, they say a single pillar post needs to generate at least 5 derivative assets.
Okay, so we're squeezing all the juice out of this one good idea.
Exactly. They actually lay out a very specific 8-touch-point compounding loop.
Oh, walk me through that. What are the 8 touch points?
So one pillar post becomes 3 LinkedIn posts, but each one covers just one specific argument from the article.
Oh, so you're not just summarizing the whole thing 3 times, you're taking it apart.
Right. Then it becomes 1 email to your list, 2 short-form social cuts, like for X or Instagram, 1 sales enablement snippet for your account executives to use, and 1 community or partner share.
That is incredibly efficient. So that's 8 touch points from one solid piece of content.
And to build real topical authority, you repeat this loop inside 3 to 5 specific topic clusters. You just stay focused on those clusters.
For you listening right now, this has to be a huge relief.
It really should be.
Because it means you don't have to come up with brilliant new ideas every single day. You don't have to constantly feed the beast. You just have to be really smart about dissecting the good ideas you already fought hard to create.
Yeah, the leverage is in the distribution, not just the creation. But the source does have a warning about platform specifics here.
Right, because you can't just copy and paste the same text everywhere.
Exactly. Don't just dump leftover blog lines onto X. You have to write specifically for the platform's hook and its natural rhythm.
So even when the AI is helping you chop up the pillar post, you still need that human editorial judgment to make sure it actually fits the vibe of LinkedIn versus Instagram.
Precisely. The junior analyst drafts the social posts, but you have to approve the tone.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. When you look at the final synthesis from this source, the biggest mistake teams make isn't actually about the prompts or the tools.
No, it's about the mindset.
Right. It's that they are outsourcing their thinking to the tool. AI is incredibly useful for all this formatting and distribution we just talked about. But the
The
strategy,
strategy, the proof, the editorial conviction, all of that still has to come from you.
because, as the article points out, your CMO's job description includes conviction. A language model's job description does not.
That is the perfect summary. An LLM cannot take a stand. It can only predict words.
Exactly. It's just math. It doesn't actually care about your industry.
You know, there's one final thought I want to leave everyone with, something to mull over.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, the Stella Pop article defines AI slop as this generic content that lacks a unique point of view, right? The content that sounds exactly like competitors.
Right. The stuff that fails that brutal competitor test.
But if AI is just trained on the content that humans have already put out there on the internet, doesn't that imply that a vast majority of the human-created marketing before AI was actually just slop, too?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, the AI didn't invent corporate jargon out of thin air. It learned it from us.
Exactly. The AI might just be holding up a mirror to our own lack of originality. It's automating the mediocrity we were already producing.
That is a little uncomfortable, but honestly so true. We were already writing slop. AI just made it cheaper and faster to do it.
So I would invite you to look back at the content your team created a year ago, maybe before you started using AI at all. Look at it honestly and ask yourself, would it pass the competitor test today?
If you swapped the logos on your top-performing blog post from 2 years ago, would anyone actually notice?
It's a tough question.
It really is. But that is where the real strategy begins. Take that competitor test, audit your tool stack, and start demanding real conviction from your content. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.